shocking developments have just erupted across global investor circles as the November 25th Gazette release sent Tier 4 beholders into absolute disbelief. And before we dive deep into every critical update, you must make sure you watch this entire video till the end, because the information revealed today could completely change your expectations, your preparation strategy, and even the entire timeline you've been watching for months. So hit the like button right now and stay fully focused as we unpack what many are calling the clearest confirmation yet of Iraq's long-anticipated financial shift. The newly surfaced Gazette details have created a massive wave of urgency because they appear to outline the complete step-by-step redemption sequence, something analysts have been hunting for ever since the central bank began accelerating monetary reform actions earlier this year. And what's more surprising is how openly the language points toward coordination phases that align with global exchange frameworks that insiders have quietly referenced for years. Investors across major telegram rooms, private intel networks, and regional banking circles are now buzzing with speculation as this release marks one of the first times government-published documents seem to sync with internal bank readiness reports. And the timing is raising eyebrows because of how closely it aligns with end-of-month settlement windows and liquidity positioning activities reported in multiple financial sectors. Many observers are now reassessing Iraq's public statements about currency stability, oil-backed value protection, and international digital settlement integration, because the Gazette's wording suggests that the economic committees are now aligned in a way that hasn't been seen since the initial Reconstruction Monetary Framework was drafted post-2021. Some experts are calling this a signal that Iraq may be preparing to transition from the planning phase to the execution stage in its exchange value strategy, and that could explain why Tier 4B, long considered the privately positioned liquidity group, was specifically mentioned by analysts interpreting the new procedural flow. Additional movement inside the central bank appears to support this angle, including reported departmental restructuring, audit verification sweeps, and updated digital compliance testing across participating institutions, all of which tend to occur only when a financial authority is approaching operational readiness. These developments have created a ripple effect among global investors who have long watched Iraq's progress, because any major shift in the dinar's managed exchange posture could influence various international settlement channels, cross-border remittance frameworks, and even regional oil trade invoicing pairings. Although nothing has been officially declared as a rate change or activation event, the convergence of documentation, timing, bank behavior, and cross-ministry coordination has significantly amplified speculation that the long-discussed monetary revaluation framework could be entering a pivotal stage, with the Gazette confirming new procedural language and analysts pushing fresh interpretations. Now that the initial shock from the November 25th Gazette has swept the community, let's dig into the specific sequence that analysts believe outlines the multi-phase redemption model and why Tier 4B appears to play such a strategic role within the global alignment ecosystem that financial technicians and banking insiders have referenced for years. The newly discussed redemption sequence begins with internal governmental verification cycles, where Iraq's ministries coordinate cross-reference reviews of currency circulation data, liquidity supply logs, and international settlement compliance prerequisites, and these are followed by CBI-supervised technical audits designed to ensure that all banks participating in the transition meet updated digital security and procedural standards. Once those verifications pass, the second stage reportedly moves into external alignment protocols, which involve communication channels between Iraq and specific financial partners who maintain oversight roles within global exchange frameworks. And this is where Tier 4B seems to fit, because this group is often associated with private holders positioned to exchange through specialized banking tiers that require pre-cleared procedural synchronization. Analysts argue that the Gazette's language hints at a structured, pre-sequenced rollout model, where Iraq finalizes domestic readiness first, then transitions into synchronized exchange windows that rely on real-time banking coordination to prevent liquidity shock, compliance mismatches, or timing gaps in cross-border transaction flows. This structured model mirrors the architecture used in other countries implementing monetary adjustments, where exchange groups are layered based on clearance priority, and Tier 4B often appears somewhere between internal institutional exchanges and broader public access phases. Banking insiders have been reporting for months that internal procedural updates were underway, including new teller-level training modules, currency authentication protocol refreshers, and expanded digital security layers designed to support high-volume transaction windows, and many of these updates appear to match the sequence described in the Gazette. Additionally, CBI coordination teams reportedly conducted system stress tests involving exchange matching algorithms and liquidity tracking dashboards, and this level of preparation typically precedes operational readiness phases in monetary reform timelines. What's especially interesting is the timing, because this release came right as Iraq reaffirmed commitments to international financial frameworks, digital banking modernization, and currency stabilization measures that many interpret as prepositioning steps for value adjustments. Tier 4B's role becomes even more significant when considering how banks often handle private, pre-scheduled exchanges. They require enhanced compliance, advanced appointment scheduling structures, and multi-layer verification checkpoints, all of which align with the redemption details analysts extracted from the Gazette. The sequence also seems to reinforce the idea that Iraq aims to maintain controlled liquidity release, ensuring the financial system can absorb newly activated value levels without triggering volatility spikes. With these patterns emerging, many experts believe the activation window now depends on finalization of international settlement verifications, synchronized banking go signals, and confirmation that all domestic systems are prepared for seamless execution. As more observers dive deeper into the Gazette with all these developments converging at once, the final and perhaps most critical question is how soon the activation window could realistically open, and what IQD holders should be doing right now to ensure they're fully prepared for whatever unfolds next, because timing in these situations is everything, and those who stay informed are always positioned far better than those who react too late. Experts reviewing the November 25th Gazette have pointed out that while no specific execution date is provided, the nature of the procedural confirmation strongly suggests Iraq is closing in on the operational phase of its multi-year monetary reform roadmap, especially given the alignment of ministry approvals, central bank readiness tasks, and the advanced banking procedure updates that have been ongoing for months beneath the surface. What matters most for IQD holders now is understanding the sequence rather than the date, because the sequence gives the clearest picture of what steps Iraq must complete before any activation can occur, and those steps have now been spelled out more explicitly than ever before. Analysts emphasize staying alert for upcoming CBI announcements, liquidity window positioning, emergency banking hour extensions, and cross-border settlement test confirmations, because these indicators often emerge right before major transitions unfold. Many believe the timing could be connected to settlement cycles, fiscal quarter adjustments, or international compliance deadlines that Iraq must meet as part of its re-entry into expanded global financial participation, and that could mean the window is closer than most realize. For individuals holding IQD, preparation means having documentation organized, understanding banking verification expectations, being aware of appointment-based protocols, and staying alert for any shifts in institutional communication patterns that might signal banks are entering readiness mode. While nothing is guaranteed until officially announced, the unprecedented overlap between the Gazette details, banking movement patterns, expert interpretations, and international coordination signals represents one of the strongest periods of alignment observed in the IQD space in years. If Iraq continues at this pace, the activation potential increases significantly as procedural finalization moves closer to completion. The best thing viewers can do now is remain engaged, stay informed, and closely track every new development, because information is your greatest advantage in a moment where accurate understanding could determine how effectively you respond when the sequence moves forward. And as we continue monitoring every update, make sure you're subscribed, turn on notifications, drop your thoughts below, and share this video with anyone who needs to know what's happening right now, because the next wave of news could be even bigger than what we just covered today.